Testing, testing, testing. All right, it looks like we're live. Give some folks a couple minutes to join in here, and then we're going to get started. But thanks everybody for joining, and we're gonna get going here in just a few minutes with some live updates from Starship, or from Starbase rather, regarding Starship, and we're going to give you some updates on Rocket Future as a channel and just exactly what we have planned ahead. So some exciting stuff coming up, some stuff I'm excited to tell you about, and just excited to be down here and showing you full stack right now. Welcome, Starbase Watcher. Good to see you. I'll kind of stand in front of the, let me get my chat on my phone, and then I can stand kind of in front of the camera and start welcoming people in while we get started. Are we kind of crooked? I think we're like maybe just a slightly crooked here. Is that on OBS or is that on the actual? I think that's better. All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. I don't exactly want to stand right in front of where the sun's at. Maybe I'll change our angle here a little bit. Let's go this way. Yeah, welcome in everybody. My name is Andrew and this is Rocket Future. It's really windy out here, so hopefully y'all can hear me all right. I think you should be able to, though. As you can see, earlier today, SpaceX has restacked Ship 25 on top of Booster 9. So it's really, really good to see the full stack again. Not exactly sure why they destacked it to begin with, but it was they took off the hot staging ring, and it looks like they did some top work on top of Booster 9. So we'll see if we learn anything more about what kind of work they might have done to it, but really good to see the hot stage ring back on and Ship 25 stacked on top. So very, very good. Welcome, Alan. Welcome, Andrew Paris. Good to see you. Alan says, good evening. Really nice shot. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Andrew Paris says, hey, Lambda, watching from the Westin Fort Lauderdale. Hopefully the weather out there in Florida is nice. Thanks for tuning in, Titan. Good to see you. So yeah, point of today's stream is one, just to bring you live views of full stack, because who doesn't want to see some live sunset shots of full stack? I feel like I hear somebody listening to, like, there's either a pad announcement or somebody's listening to metal music. I can't tell which. Two, I haven't been streaming a ton lately, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And the reason, number three, why we wanted to do today's stream is just to kind of give everybody a heads up for what's coming up on the channel in the next few weeks, I would say, to a couple months. Yeah, next few weeks or so. So I'm going to give some time for people to still trickle in, and then we'll get started with our topics today. Let me write down our notes so we can talk about what is on the agenda. These types of streams I want to start doing at least hopefully on a bi-weekly basis, just to keep everybody updated, especially our channel members, updated with what to expect coming up on the channel. I know my face is pretty dark, but you know, that's just kind of how this is, how the sunset shot's gonna work. So lighting isn't amazing, but this stream doesn't have to be specifically amazing for the commentary camera, but as long as you're getting a good sunset view. So agenda for today: discuss full stack, discuss launch opportunity, discuss last 2 weeks, discuss next month ahead, beginning of October, middle of October, end of October. All right, agenda is now written, so I have some notes that I can go against here. Welcome in, everybody. Everybody is starting to trickle in. Detroit Mission Control is in the house. Welcome, Detroit Mission Control. Welcome, Jonathan Hewer. Good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Just let me know if you can hear and see me all right, and then we'll get started. I'm going to check our framing here a little bit. Yeah, so the sun is still a little bit overblown. Let's see if I can fix that first of all. Do I have... Andrew Paris says 5x5. Thank you for letting me know. It actually looks considerably less blown out on the actual stream. I think it's only blown out on my display here. So good. I think it looks like we're in good shape. Jonathan says sun is perfect. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, so I think it's just my display here that's a little blown out. I have the brightness turned all the way up so I can see it out here in the bright days. So it definitely that makes sense. So we're out here on Boca Chica Beach. Again, this is the southern tip of Mexico. I almost said of Texas. I'm only about 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from the border with Mexico, actually. So nice and close there. And sunset's starting to get a little bit earlier down here as we get closer and closer to the winter months, or whatever there is as winter months down here. I think sunset tonight, it might be at 7:20, so we should be just about 20 minutes out from sunset. Good set of cloud cover, hopefully not too much cloud cover, but I think it might be a good level of cloud cover for some really beautiful sunset shots. Detroit Mission Control says, what's the temperature here? I think it's still high 80s. I think my volume's a little bit high. Test. Check. All right, that's probably better on the volume. Yeah, I think it's still high 80s, low 90s here. The daytime is still just as hot as it has been recently, but the nights are starting to cool off a lot. I've noticed in my pool that the pool is cooler during the daytime, so either it's getting less direct sun, or it is or it's getting some time to cool off at night when it's cooler out. So, but it's pretty nice. There's quite the breeze. So if there's a lot of wind sound, that is why. I need to get another windsock for this. Not windsock. I always call it a windsock, but another wind guard. Earlier, but just let me know how bad the wind is, if it's bad at all. But without further ado, I think now we jump right into the agenda for today. Let me turn this around so I can see myself. So yeah, like I was saying, for anybody that joined right at the beginning, my name is Andrew and this is Rocket Future. Today's stream is just a little bit of an update stream about what's happening down here at Starbase and what's happening with the channel Rocket Future and what we have coming up planned for the channel. So first on the agenda is for us to discuss full stack. Like I said just a little bit ago, SpaceX restacked Ship 25 onto Booster 9 just this morning. So this is likely the second to last full stack. We do believe that before launch they will need to destack Ship 25 off of Booster 9 one more time to set up the flight termination system. Again, the flight termination system is the system that automatically will detonate the vehicle in case it starts going off course or loses control. So really good to see it full stacked again, because I think that means that SpaceX is still, planning on being ready for a launch whenever they have the opportunity to launch. And obviously just having a full stack on the pad is better than not having a full stack on the pad. I love coming down here when it's a full stack. It's the best time to be down here without a doubt. So speaking of launch opportunities, there's not a ton more information since we last talked about when Starship, will launch. We've probably all heard that the FAA still hasn't issued a launch license based on a couple of different things. But one of the outstanding items is the Fish and Wildlife environmental review. So basically, they just have to look at the changes that SpaceX has made to the pad and the rocket to see if the changes that have happened since last launch need to be reviewed further. Hopefully the result of that will be Fish and Wildlife coming back and saying everything that we've said about the environmental impact previously still holds, regardless of the changes to the vehicle and to the pad. The alternative is they could say that the changes require additional environmental review, and that's not the news that any of us want to hear as far as timeliness of this launch. Obviously, we need to do what we need to do to get this thing off the ground in a safe and effective way, but that would definitely mean additional delays. That being said, I wouldn't be too concerned about that until we hear more. So yeah, we're just kind of hanging out and waiting to see when all that comes through. I think they have a few months, over 3 months, to get that review back to the FAA with those decisions. And just because that they have that long to do it doesn't mean that they're going to take that long to get it done. So we'll just have to hold tight. I did see some people talking about the schedule for the WB-57. So when this rocket launches and a couple other, and some other rockets launch, NASA sends up a big plane to help with the imaging of the rocket. And before the last launch, we saw that plane had placeholders set on their schedule. That was like a couple weeks before launch, I think, we started seeing those placeholders. And that plane does have placeholders in its schedule again, I believe for the end of this month through October 14th, October, I want to say it was 18th, and then more placeholders starting November 8th. Now, does that have anything to do with Starship? Maybe, maybe not, but that is just another piece of information that we can talk about there. So that's the first two things on the agenda. We discussed full stack, we discussed launch opportunities. I'm going to check in with chat here, and then we'll go on our next couple pieces of agenda. Space Girl Falcon is here. Welcome, Space Girl Falcon. Hope you're doing well. It sounds like were you able to get out here this morning? But hopefully you're enjoying Starbase again, and I'm glad to see you here. Okay, so the next thing on the agenda is trying to set a standard for having streams like this on maybe like a bi-weekly occasion. I'm going to try to cover the mic a little bit for wind. On maybe like a bi-weekly occurrence or something like that, to talk about what has changed at Starbase and what to expect from the Rocket Future channel. Now, we've had some really gracious support on the channel, some people signing up as members, some people even gifting memberships, and I just want to make sure that people know what's going to be coming up on the channel, just so they know what they're signing up for. So like I said, we're going to try to do these streams hopefully at least every other week, if not every week, but we'll just have to see what timing allows. So the first thing we can do is talk about the last 2 weeks or so. So that's kind of how I want to do these streams. I want to kind of like review 2 weeks and then look like 2 to 4 weeks ahead. So as far as reviewing the last couple weeks, it's been kind of slow here as far as Booster 9 and Ship 25 specifically. They were destacked, and they've just been kind of hanging out down here. No major tests have happened on them. Just the restacking today was really the biggest thing that's happened with these two vehicles in any recent time. There's been some other testing of some other ships down at Massey's, and there's been a few vehicles moving back and forth to Massey's. Generally, I'll cover those sometimes, but I haven't lately. The last couple weeks have been really, really crazy with work. And the only reason why I'm able to do what I do with Rocket Future right now is based on the income from my other job. So, whenever I neglect that job sometimes when it's really busy here. So sometimes when it's slow here, I have to spend a lot of time working on that job just to make sure that I am keeping productive and making things happen there. And it's been really, really busy too outside of that. Some non-optional things have come up that I've had to work on the last couple weeks, and it's been nuts. So I took some time to work on work itself, while Booster 9 and Ship 25 have been kind of quiet. But I have been working on the channel, just not on live streams. So I've mentioned a couple times that I'm working on this kind of top secret project that I'm working on, and I'm not ready to reveal what that is yet, but I am still working on it. I've spent many hours over the last 2 weeks working on that, and I'm really excited about that. I don't know if you're gonna love it. I don't know if it's gonna be super successful. I don't know anything other than I'm having a blast building it out, and I'm building it out specifically for the Rocket Future channel. So maybe another week or so I'll be able to tell you more about this top secret project. Hopefully, a week or so. I'm just looking at the moon right now behind my Jeep, and it's amazing. So we're gonna have to battle between sunset and moonrise here in a second. Checking in with chat, and we'll keep moving forward on our agenda for today. So yeah, that was the last couple weeks. Doing a lot of work at work. Spending a lot of time on this top secret Rocket Future project, and wrapping up the Jeep, the new Jeep setup stuff that I was working on. So as things start heating back up down here with testing, we'll make sure we're on that, yeah, we'll see. We just don't know how the timing looks for that type of stuff at the moment. Will is here. Not bad wind noise. Covering doesn't help. All right, then I don't really need to cover it then. It looks kind of silly and feels annoying. Will says, quit your job, YOLO. Oh man, if I quit my job, I would be wrecked very quickly. Very, very quickly. So maybe someday that will be an opportunity, but today it is not. Next on the agenda is looking forward. What is coming up for Rocket Future? Biggest thing I want to talk about, well, outside of launch, obviously we just have to wait and see what happens. That's always on the agenda, just being ready for launch whenever that's going to happen. That's on the schedule. Outside of that, October 14th, we're going to be doing a live stream of the annular solar eclipse. So I'm going to be driving up to where it has the max amount of eclipse. So this isn't a total eclipse, but it's an annular eclipse, which basically means the moon doesn't fully cover the full disk of the sun from the Earth's perspective. So we'll see the moon. Well, we won't really see the moon. We'll just see a giant black hole in the middle of the sun, and we'll see the sun sticking out around the edges. During an annular solar eclipse, you still need to wear eclipse glasses through the whole thing. Again, it's not like a total eclipse. But I've ordered in the last couple weeks some equipment to make sure that we can cover that event on the Rocket Future channel. I got a filter for this camera, and I got some other equipment so that we can have a live stream of the total, or I won't say total, the full duration of the annular eclipse, from the moment the moon just barely starts covering the sun until the moon is perfectly in the center of the sun. And then as it fades away as well. I'm not exactly sure what my location will be for that, but the plan for that is to kind of do what I did with the first Starship launch stream. And that was, I went out into public, had a live view of the event, but then I also had views of the public and talked to people, and interviewed people and asked what everybody thought about it, and try to give a little bit of like an excitement party atmosphere for the crazy thing that we're seeing. So that's what I'm going to try to do again. Again, that is the 14th. Fingers crossed for decent weather, just not a lot of cloud cover. So that's the next big thing on the channel. October 14th, we are doing the solar eclipse. Now, after the 14th, there might be a little bit of a lag on content on the channel again for a couple weeks. If possible, I will try to shoot some videos that will try to cover, I'll try to post a couple times during that week. But I'm going to be doing a little bit of traveling from October 18th forward. The good part of that is during that travel, I will be going to a very interesting place to get a tour. It's space related. I'm going to shoot video on it. It's not an exclusive tour. It is a public tour. But I think I should be able to make some pretty cool content out of it. I guarantee you, almost none of you would be able to guess what it is. So that should be kind of cool. That should be pretty cool. I'm very excited for it. But yeah, like I said, after the 14th, after the eclipse, we'll come down, and do some Starbase content that week. But then on the 18th, pretty much to the end of the month, we'll be traveling of October. So just note that. And then we're going to hope that Starship is closer to launch in November. Hopefully early November, mid-November. I would be super happy with that time frame for a launch, but we'll just have to wait and see. So, checking in with the chat here. Detroit Mission Control says that this top secret project a remote camera setup. It is not. I would love to do a remote camera setup sometime, but at the moment it's just not feasible. But at some point, hopefully, we'll be able to do that. That being said, you might recall that at one point we did have a live stream up of Starbase from our channel, a 24-hour live stream from a camera that was provided. They provided a feed to us from Starbnb, and we're working on doing something cool with that camera. And that does actually tie into the top secret project. But yeah, don't expect any remote live cams anytime super soon. But maybe some more 24-hour coverage or 24-hour footage from, further away, but with a twist. With a twist. What about a plus is here? Welcome. Welcome in. Thanks for stopping in. It's good to see you. So that's kind of what I had on the agenda for today. We discussed a little bit about the full stack. We discussed a little bit about what has happened over the last couple weeks and where I've been putting my time into the channel, and what we are going to be looking at in the month or so ahead. So for content, expect to hear about the secret project pretty soon. Don't get too excited. I don't want to hype it up. But I've been enjoying working on it, and that's the biggest thing, and I hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, top secret thing should be coming out in the next week or so, maybe 2. Eclipse stream October 14th. And then a video of a tour of a very unique space facility, or at least portions of a tour of a unique space facility. And obviously, before traveling, I will work in some Starbase content before that. So I think that's really it. And then obviously, we're going to be thinking about our plan for after, like November. I'm starting to think about what our November schedule is looking like, and what our content is going to be looking like for that month. If things are still slow here, as far as the booster and ship if we're still waiting for a launch license in November. That will provide me an opportunity to do some other more unique creative projects. I know there's been folks that have shared the desire to hear more about the area and hear more about what people that are from this area think about this project. So it's possible if we have a slow month for Starship in November, we could start working on some of that content. So yeah, if there's anything specific that you want to see in November, drop it in chat, drop it in the Discord, and we'll see what we can do. And if it's, we might even be able to get it done between now and when I travel, and then I can post it while I'm traveling to kind of cover that gap a little bit. So let me know anything you have. Probably better in the Discord, so I don't have to scroll through all of this to find it again in the chat. But yeah, let's take a look at sunset, see how that's going. It looks like I have a moment to pivot over to the moon without missing too much, so let me do that now. We'll check back in with the sunset progress here in just a few minutes. Hopefully you've got a good view of that moon. Not quite a full moon yet, but a full moon soon. Space Girl Falcon says the moon looks amazing. It does. Yeah, so I just kind of zoomed in on the base of the OLM here. You can see some people walking around. Is that people walking around? Oh yeah, there's some people walking inside the OLM. Take a look at that right now. That's a pretty cool shot. Seeing inside the orbital launch mount. And I'm trying to figure out if that's people moving around underneath as well, or if that's just things blowing around. I think it's just things blowing. I think the person inside is the only person we can see right now. So I'll also kind of summarize what we've talked about here in the chat, and I'll post it as a members update text version in on YouTube. So in like the community tab or whatever, I'll post that so people know what to look forward to here on Rocket Future in the next month or so. Will with the super chat, thank you so much, Will. Elon's full stack brings all the boys to the yard. Absolutely. Absolutely. Look at that. Starting to see a little bit of color pop here on I'm kind of looking towards South Padre Island. Not a ton of colors popping behind Starship right now, but we'll give it a little bit to see. But yes, thank you again, Will, for that super chat. It is so much appreciated. Thank you for the support. You know what? while we're waiting for things to get a little bit more exciting with the colors, which looks like it might pop any second. But let's just zoom on into that hot stage ring, because it's still a novelty to me. The fact that that thing is there just feels new and different to me still. I have to get a new tripod at some point. Dang. This one's just not cutting it. It's just not granular enough with the movements. But check out that hot staging ring. Ship 25 has spent a decent amount of time up on that ring now, so hopefully they've been able to look at it and determine that it's still looking pretty good and in good shape for launch. I would guarantee that, actually, based off the fact that they restacked. I would imagine that while they had the ring off, they probably looked at it. Clouds are moving a little bit further west, which I think would help us for the sunset view. So let's see if we start to see these clouds start lighting up looking pink. Will says it looks crisp and great on your TV. Yeah, we're doing really well right now on Starlink. We got 0.4% dropped frames, which is amazing for Starlink. I have to check. At one point I upgraded to the prioritized version of Starlink, but then I had to downgrade again for budget reasons. I don't know if we're still on the priority, just because I don't know if the billing cycle has happened yet. But we'll be doing some testing streams after we drop from priority to see if we still get just as good frame rate or frame drop. And if we see significant frame drop, I'll find a way to make the priority happen again. For anybody who has signed up for our monthly postcards, we send a postcard in the mail every month with photography that I took from here at Starbase, with some stories on the back about what happens here at Starbase. You should be receiving your most recent postcard, I would say this week or early next week if you haven't received them already. And I also have 2 other postcards that are scheduled to go out over the course of the next 2 weeks. So wanted to catch up on that a little bit. So if anybody hasn't gotten their postcard, you should expect that in the mail any day now. I gotta update the bottom here. The scroller is definitely out of date. Let's see what we have in the scroller. SpaceX officially launched their Starship full stack for the first time ever on April 20th, 2023. That is still accurate. Starship is the world's largest and most powerful rocket ever. That is still accurate. Starship's first flight was terminated after multiple in-flight anomalies, but this does not mean that the test was a complete failure. Still true. Thanks for joining us. Blah, 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 blah. S25 has been rolled back to the build site. That is no longer true. Let me get rid of that. Booster 9 has made it back to the launch facility with the hot stage ring installed. Booster 9 did not complete a spin prime this week. I can get rid of that. You can find our Rocket Future merch in the store tab of our YouTube profile. That is still accurate. All right, let me put the mic down here and add a sentence about the full stack. Alright, that should be more accurate now. Still not a ton of colors popping up in the sky here, but it is still a really nice sunset and a really nice night. I will give you a quick pan over to the north. We are now looking towards South Padre Island, and we do see some pink going on over in the sky over there. And South Padre Island is visible from this distance. It's just currently blocked by these dunes. These are the dunes at Boca Chica Beach. And of course, back to Starship. Continuing to run with our new computer setup here in the Jeep. Everything is working very well. Cannot complain. In fact, I not only can I not complain, I am very, very thrilled with how this is all working right now. I'll zoom back out in a moment, especially if I see some good sunset shots. But let's see if that person is still in the OLM. Yep, they're still in there. Check that out, folks. That light coming in from inside the orbital launch mount, you can see a person moving around and working in there. Getting a little bit grainy with the low light that's coming in. Yeah, at some point pretty soon here, we're going to be dropping a decent amount of video quality just based off of the lighting. But pretty much when sunset wraps up, we will roll out of here. Anybody have any questions about any of the things that we discussed during the stream so far today? Oh, and the reason why we're not streaming to multiple platforms right now is just because I was working on the computer that supports the multi-streaming back at home. I recently reformatted and reinstalled and cleaned it up and everything. So I'm just getting that rig back into a clean slate for video editing and for hosting streams and stuff. So that is just currently in progress. Otherwise, we would be live on X and everything right now as well as YouTube. I'm going to take a sip of water here. Give me a minute. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if we're going to really get much color going on, unfortunately, but that's alright. I do see some flashlights, I think, under the OLM. So maybe that's not flashlights. That could just be something blowing in front of those two lights that we see under the OLM there. Yeah, not flashlights. Alright, I've been here for about 42 minutes. It's 7:35. We will we'll round it out with an hour stream. So we're gonna hang out here for another 15 minutes, a little over 15 minutes. Check out the rest of the sunset, and then we'll wrap some things up. So if there's any questions, or if there's anything you want me to zoom into, only so much we can see from this angle here, but it was the best angle for the sunset. But this time of the night is when the booster looks the shiniest. It's really nice with this type of lighting. Still looks amazing. It does. Check out how shiny that booster is. That's a pretty dang good shot, if I say so myself. Very golden sunset. Beach is nice and clean. I think there was a large beach cleanup this weekend. It looks really close to immaculate right now. It's great to see. It's great to see. Juan is here. Juan says a sunset and some Adello sounds good, huh? Sure does. I have not been partaking in the drinking much lately. I've like I said, I got some travel coming up next month, and I know that I'm going to be eating a lot and maybe having a couple drinks during that trip. And I was like, I need to lose a little bit of weight before that trip. Psychotria says buff it with some semi-chrome polish and cotton rag. I know, right? Imagine how shiny it would be. I will probably have a drink tomorrow. But yeah, I've been being good lately as far as that goes. Some lights going on underneath the OLM. Adello time at Starbase, Texas. That sounds like a dream. Good stuff. Good stuff. Has SpaceX cleaned up the concrete tornado yet? They definitely cleaned up more than they had just recently. They cleaned up a bunch, but there's still a lot of concrete. You can still find some concrete here and there. I don't know of any realistic way to pick it all up. At a certain point, it's probably doing less damage just being there. You know, it's inert rock. Than, you know, trampling all over the dunes to go pick it up. But they did some extra work on it. It looks a lot better now. Psychotria says cut out carbs, especially sugars. Yeah, I have. I'm following a pretty strict calorie limit right now. Low carb, fairly low carb, a lot lower than what I wasn't taking. So it's probably actually like a regular amount of carbs, but I was eating a lot of carbs before. Yeah, sugars I'm not eating hardly any sugars right now, and yeah, I think I'm already 10 pounds down. A lot of that's just water weight, which will happen at the beginning of one of these, but I think by the end of the year I want to try to get to a specific goal weight, and I think I should be able to do it. I usually have like one multi-month fitness splurge, or like not splurge, but like fitness binge a year. I usually I gotta try to extend that out throughout more of the year, but so far so good. Detroit says, did I see the dinner I posted in Discord today? I didn't see the one from today, but I'll check it out right now, actually. Oh, let me fix the camera here first. It's getting real dark, so I'll zoom back out, and then we'll start adjusting our exposure and stuff here shortly. Let's go to Discord. If anybody's not in the Discord yet, just type !Discord in chat, and you'll get a link to our Discord server. Small community right now, but continuing to grow. Alright, it looks like... Ooh! Detroit Mission Control. Perfectly cooked, Japanese marinated. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Delicious steak. I mean, I can pronounce it the way it looks, but I don't know if that's how it's actually pronounced. Served with sauteed and semi-oil pearl onions, served on top of Austin slaw. That looks so good. Oh my god. That is certainly a low-carb, healthy meal. What? How do you pronounce that type of steak? Is it just pronounced the way it looks? That looks so good. I'll make some steak tonight, actually. I have some I gotta cook up and use it before it gets bad. I think I still have a couple days, but I'll use it up tonight. We're gonna wrap stream up in about 10 minutes, unless the colors really start to pop out here, which I'm starting to see a little bit of pinks going on. But roughly 10 minutes. If anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to let me know. Terrace Major. I'm going to play with our settings a little bit here and see if we can get this a little bit less grainy. I'm going to switch it to manual and everything's going to get screwed up for a second. Alright, give me a moment. Let's go auto shutter for now, and then that'll get us back to a baseline, and then we'll go auto iris, and then we'll manually adjust the iris. Alright, iris is open. Let's go shutter. I like those commands. Those are awesome. Oh yeah, now we're starting to see a little bit of pink. Barely, but it's there. I haven't, I need to screw around with this camera a little more to figure out the white balance configuration. Still pretty new to me, this camera here, and I do struggle with the white balance. Because now that I'm on manual, we're losing a lot of that pink because the white balance is wrong. I don't know. But yeah, not that there's a ton of color going on. Think Paris, but Terrace. Terrace. Does that make sense? Man, it's really getting grainy. I got it. Terrace steak. Terrace major steak. Terrace. Up to about 1% frame drops, which is a bit more than I was, but it's not terrible still. It's terrible for like an at-home stream, but for a Starbase stream, it's not bad. It gets bad around 20%. We've had a lot of streams out here with like 20% frame drop, which is nuts. Let's focus in a little bit better than that. Oh, now we almost certainly see some flashlights going on underneath, I think. Unless I'm still being tricked by those things waving underneath. Alright, folks. T-minus 5 minutes. I'll wrap up here in about 5 minutes. I can give you another shot of the moon here. Hopefully I was able to update you with what excitement we have coming up to the channel soon. Actually, before I show you the moon, how about just the water? No problem, Detroit. It is my pleasure as always. Pretty cool in just a little bit over a week. Or is it closer to 2? 27th. Looking at the calendar. Yeah. Closer to 2 weeks from now. Over 2 weeks from now. Wait, hold on. Yeah, in just over 2 weeks from now, we're going to be able to watch the moon block off the sun. At least a good portion of the sun. It's going to be really cool to watch that. Again, we're going to be having live coverage of the 2023 annular solar eclipse. I'm so pumped for... I'm excited for that, but I'm so pumped for the total eclipse next year. We're going to have some big fun with that one. That's for sure. Bring it back to Starship for the last couple minutes of the stream here. I just got a bunch of sand in my microphone port, and it almost didn't work. It's crazy how much these lights impact autofocus at night. It's unusable. Alright, that's really grainy. We're going to call it there, folks. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We got some exciting stuff ahead. I'll post about it on our Twitter or our X. I'll post about it on our YouTube and all that stuff in case you missed the beginning of the stream. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you to all of our members. Thank you so much, Will, for the super chat. I'll see you all next time. My name is Andrew. This is Rocket Future, and peace out.